I've remembered the password for this. It's been a while, hasn't it, folks? I mean, it's not like I've not done anything. I've been on the podcast every week. I've ran Tigers Talk every week. I've still been about. But it's it's nice to be back on my own platform. Find time to be back on my own platform. I'll address it early then. Why the break? So match day vlogs, okay, that's where we'll start, because what was the last one that went out? Actually, it was that long ago. I can't remember what the last one that went out was. The last match day vlog that went out was Burnley. And then the last video on this channel was Tim Valter getting sacked. So the match day vlogs will come back. It's just a matter of, well, early in the season when we weren't winning games, I wasn't enjoying the games. So it wouldn't be worth me putting a video out that, because I didn't enjoy the game, I put no effort into editing. And then for you, if I'm not enjoying the content I was making, then I shouldn't expect you lot to enjoy it. So that's where the match day vlogs were and went. The previews, they stayed pretty consistent until December when we played Blackburn, and afterwards, after that Blackburn game, uni deadlines started to creep up and stack up, and I had loads of work I needed to do. And at that point, that takes priority. That Blackburn game was, it was the weekend before my last week at uni. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was finishing stuff off. Friday was submitting it. And then Saturday was the travel home. And I had so much packing to do on that Friday night as well, for the early Saturday wake up before the Coventry game. So that dictated that. And then just over Christmas, I had, I just had a chill. There was meant to be one on Friday the 20th. It was scheduled, but it just sort of like didn't happen because I was at work. Something came up just before work, which I got really stressed about. So I scheduled it last minute. I didn't have anything prepared. And I was then, after my hour or so at work, discussing different bits with my bosses. And then that meant I just didn't get home. So I thought, instead of delaying it, because I started to have my tea at this point as well, I thought, right, I'm just going to bin it off in its entirety, because I'll be so rushed. There'll be nothing. So that's where I've been. Then just over Christmas and New Year, I've had, uni exam. So like, as this has taken a back seat, I've done more podcast stuff. And the podcast is a great platform, because it allows me, where the match day vlogs were as I see it, as I feel it, this is what I'm thinking and feeling. The podcast can be more considered. The podcast can be, it's a longer format. And this is why, like, Twitter gets so, sort of, the fists out and the knuckle dusters come on. It's because you've got 240 characters to say what you want to say in. I did a long thread on Twitter, which you may or may not have seen. I put it on Blue Sky as well. You can find me on there. I'm not very active on there, but I'm there in case all of this, this mess that is Twitter gets shut down. It was a while ago now. So that was on the 9th of January. That's early New Year that I tweeted that. Yeah, so after Blackburn, I tweeted a load of points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 tweets. Outlining how I felt. And it's got to be said, a big factor in the break was the fact that it wasn't enjoyable to support Hull City from July through to when did Tim Walter get sacked? End of November, bar the 3 games we won on the bounce in September. And it's still mental to me that that team under that manager managed to win 3 games. Like the dressing room stories you hear, like Burstow talking after Middlesbrough, and reports of him kicking players out of his office, bust-ups with players on the training pitch. You wonder where Adjan found him. And I have been rightfully critical of Adjan, and a lot of fans haven't. And the fact he, took me on a Turkey holiday, and I'm one of the more, as averages go, if you've been on one of those holidays or you've had some good personal interaction with Adjan, you are less likely to criticize him. Nah, not for me. Not for me. Sentiment goes out of the window when I'm talking about footballing decisions. And I knew from early Tim Walter wouldn't work, but I didn't want to say it with risk of being shouted down and called a boo boy. And then if I went on Twitter and then said, well, I told you so, then I'd be my own worst enemy. And I hate people doing the I told you so's and point scoring and all that kind of thing. That's where I've been. That's an 8-minute rundown of where I've been. You'll get your previews back very soon. Not this weekend, not this Friday, because it's my sister's birthday. So family will take priority. Especially now I'm back at uni and I'll see less of them. Yeah, so that's why the break. That's that. Let's talk about. Let's look in chat, shall we? Okay, Connor. Don't quite believe that. Do you think that we'll stay up? Yes, absolutely, and we will talk about that very, very soon. Nathaniel says it tastes like top half. Tweeted that 15 minutes before the stream started. Don't blame you, mate. Watching City under Walter was a chore. It's like you can't. As in my position, if I'm not enjoying the game, then it becomes a chore to edit it. And if it becomes a chore to edit it, then I can't create a piece of content that's engaging, that's at the very, very high standards I set for myself if I'm just sort of like half-assing it because I just want to get it out and forget that the game ever existed, and then I can talk longer form on the pod the next day. That's not enjoyable. That's just not enjoyable at all for anybody. So that's that. Yeah, we'll move on from that. We will move on from that. I've realized I haven't yet on this channel, on my own platform that I've had for so long, given my thoughts on the new manager. He's not new anymore, really. I mean, he still is. He's been in the job 6 weeks, but we're so used to having him, and the whole atmosphere around this place has changed because of him. What an appointment. Adjan has a habit of tearing things up when things start progressing in an upward direction. McCann, the R word, Rosina, which I don't want to dwell on anymore because Ruben Sayers is his proper replacement. Our season started in December. Which, when you think about it, is embarrassing, but we're not going to dwell on Tim Walter. Although he launched this beauty, Tim Walter is, he who shall not be named now. I've got a couple of, Tim Walter related moments that I will discuss at some point when the dust has settled more. Because he is very much still prevalent in Hull City discourse and will be for some time as a point of ridicule, which I'm all for personally, because as a bloke, he was a horrible, horrible man to interact with, to work with. And it's not just me who says that, by the way. And when I say I saw it early, like when I was in Turkey, levels of early, that was when I first picked up and I sensed that something was afoot with Tim Walter. And that was, what was the date we went to Riva to see them in pre-season training? I'm going to check this out now. So I first spotted it on the 19th of July. No further comment. No further comment on Tim Walter. We're not going there anymore. Ruben Sayers, though, what a man. I've been fortunate enough to go to the press conferences, the pre-match press conferences at the training ground, while I've been back home from uni. And Ruben Sayers is just the most engaging manager when you compare him to Tim Walter. Like, obviously, Liam Rosina, yada, 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 yada. I'm not, like, Liam was great. He was a great speaker. He had good people skills, good relationships with people, but I never saw Liam in a press capacity. I've seen Ruben in a press capacity, and his character is totally different to the man who came before. And I never saw Tim Walter in press capacity either. But you look at mannerisms and you listen to tone of voice and you hear what people say, and you know that that is a man who absolutely hated doing press in the biggest second tier in the world, where the riches and well, what comes a step up from it are this level of media commitments, but absolutely exploded in terms of like their frequency and their intensity and how many people you have to speak to. Ruben gets it. He gets what we as journalists in that room are trying to get out of him. Like, he's been very coy on transfers, but you sort of expect that. That's by the by with a lot of managers. So he's a brilliant manager. He is the man who we should have replaced Liam Rosenior with. Tactically, he is okay. We've got a fundamental of keep the ball on the deck and try and build from the back, but we've also got the pragmatism of, if it's not working, just lump it long and let's see how it goes. Ruben Sayers, fantastic. Like, I'll give you an example of his people skills. A couple of us were having a conversation in the press room before we came in. I'm not going to go into details about who was involved in that conversation, what that conversation was about, because that's not my place to do that. But Ruben joined us in the room as we were wrapping this conversation up, and he just sort of like joined in and gave his thoughts and was sort of actively interested in what we thought about the subject we were discussing as he walked in the room. And it was football related. It was, it wasn't just like, there were a couple of us in there talking about the US election or something. It wasn't that at all. He weighed in and gave his informed, perceptive, detailed view on what we were talking about. And that's totally different to what you might have had 4 weeks before. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Because we have a January transfer window to discuss. Let's start at the start, shall we, with Matt Crooks. BRB taking a sip of water. There's water in the lid. It's going to make a mess everywhere. Give me a sec. I've still got some tissues up there. Right, a wipe it is. It's only water, but it's gonna do my head in. Big clean freak of the flat here. Matt Crooks, then. Cracking signing. We've gone out, we've identified exactly what we need. Championship experience, versatility, nous, and know-how. Matt Crooks has that in abundance. All of it. Central midfielder by trade, yes. Holder, box to box, 10. Can do it. 6'8", 10. For the want of a better phrase. There we go. Can do all of it. Striker, can do it. Centre back is a giant, so could do it. And with that versatility, you can probably stick him at fullback, either fullback, or on either wing, and you'll get the same level of effort. Probably less so on the wing in terms of performance, but at fullback, I think you definitely get a good Matt Crooks. Cracking signing. That goal against Sheffield United, oh my goodness me. I thought Abu had knackered it. I watched that ball, him stop, think, and then play the ball, and I just went, I shouted something quite loud, which I'm not going to repeat on here. But it was Kamara, you something. And then all of a sudden, I just went, jumped up out my seat, fist pump in the air. As Crooks sent it flying in. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic signing, that one. Simon and Lenny, we will talk about Louis Barry soon. but I just want to get through all this lot first. Gelhardt, that effort, I'm convinced, get me him on a permanent already. Get a contract out. Yes, this is a Corendon notebook that we got free. Get the contract out, put it on a table, let him roll whatever numbers he wants on there. Cracking. Absolutely cracking. Joe Gelhardt, love that signing. Love that signing. He's a grafter, scored a great goal at QPR. Like I say, I'm convinced. Get me. I actively want Leeds United to get promoted so we can get Joe Gelhardt. Come on. Nordin Amrabat, a very left field one. One I was very, very intrigued by, let's say, when it was first reported. Let me find the tweet. No, it's past. It's after that. It's after that. Here we go. I tweeted at the time. Still sums it up. Out the blue. It's a name I've not heard for a while, and he's probably a very different player now to what Watford signed 8 years ago. Very odd. Not expecting anything, but good luck to the lad. He's 37, 38 in March, and he may well have played his one and only game for the club now at QPR when he got subbed on. Looked all right, but look at who else we're bringing in out wide. Nordin Amrabat might not play for the football club again because of the quality we're bringing in. Who can play out wide? Kyle Joseph, love this signing. He's got the Steve Bruce seal of approval. That will do me. By the way, in big sort of personal news, I'm doing press at the Lincoln game tomorrow night. They play Blackpool, and I genuinely might have the chance to have a bit of a chat with Steve Bruce, which would be like career ambition achieved. Whether I get the chance to or not, we'll see. But the greatest Hull City manager of my lifetime and possibly of all time. I'd love that. I would love that so much. Yeah, Kyle Joseph might not be the most prolific goal scorer, but sometimes it takes the right manager and the right environment to get it out of a player. Brucey did it, and Ruben has those characteristics of being able to do that. Great with young players, Ruben Sayers. Kyle Joseph, I like that. Lincoln Enrique. Look, it wouldn't be a Hull City transfer window if we didn't have a Fenerbahce lad, would it? About this one, when it was revealed that there was some proper substance behind those rumours, I tweeted, it must be dead easy to do deals when you're negotiating with yourself. Funny that. Obviously coming from Fenerbahce, and the only two Turkey-based signings that have worked so far are Ozan Tufan and João Pedro. The first, which took a massive effort from Liam Rosinha, and Tufan, to be fair to him, bought into that. And the other was João, who we all said was past it, and now I want to have a 10-year deal, and he can stay here till he's nearly 40, nearly 45. Like I say, I wasn't wholly against it, but I'd rather us have focused on domestic targets. With Louis Barry coming in, possibly Sorba Thomas too. He's another one where I'm not exactly sure where he fits in, and I don't think we'll make this loan move a permanent one in the summer. But Fenerbahce player. We are here to provide a set. No, I'm kidding. We'll give him a crack. Always give him a crack. Yeah. Always give them a go. This lad, however, is the bollocks. Elio Matazo. He is, yeah. unreal. You don't play nearly 90 games for Monaco by the time you're 22 if you've got nothing about you. Elio Matazo, love it. Absolutely love every single bit about that signing. The midfield is stacked, and most importantly, they are our players. Alzate, our player. Puerta will be our player. Matazo, our player. Slater, our player. Crooks, our player. The only question mark is what happens with Oscar Zambrano now. And look, the Court of Arbitration for Sport hearing is in about a month's time, give or take. So we'll see. Often, I don't think the ban will be totally overturned, but I think it will be reduced. And that will determine what happens with his loan, I think. Now we've got Matazo. To be honest, I can still see us making it permanent. But if the ban is significantly reduced, like until September or something like that, rather than March next year, even like October, November time, then there's even more of an incentive for the club to do it. And I think we will do it eventually. I think Oscar Zambrano will still be a Hull City player. All the noises coming out of Adrian, he is our boy. We believe in him. We believe he's innocent. I think Oscar Zambrano will be a permanent Hull City player at some point, because I think they will view it as worth the money for the money we could make on him, if you get what I'm trying to say. Especially if that ban is reduced until like October, November time this year. Reduced from 16 months to about 12. That's massive. That's a massive difference. We'll see where we stand. There is very much a you do not ask questions about this, as far as I'm aware, because the club just want it to go away and people to forget about it. Judging by the wording of the statement they put out at the time anyway. Departures then: Giles, Malem, Longman, Rushworth, Jarvis. The Rushworth one took us all by surprise, took the club by surprise, definitely. But Evor's class, so don't care. Jarvo, it's a shame it didn't work, but it's a good move for him to Notts County. Longman, RIP. Thoughts with Nathaniel. He has created, actually. I'll publicise this. He has created it's unbelievable. He has created a to Wrexham and back at Wrexham back account. Longman in there, pride of place. One follower, Nathaniel. He said it on the podcast last night. And I didn't quite believe he'd done it. So when I was listening to the podcast back this morning, I thought, you know what, I'm going to search this. So I searched it to Wrexham and back. And there it was. Nathaniel, love you, mate. Malem, no loss, and Giles. Giles should have been the perfect left back, but it just wasn't to be. Christian. He wasn't joking, mate. He wasn't joking. Giles should have been perfect. It didn't work for whatever reason. There was no fan a year ago opposed that signing. And now, look where we are. It's a shame for everyone that didn't work. I think it was silly on the club's part to put a £4 million obligation in there. That's why there are whispers of buy options in the Louis Barry deal, and everyone will jump on and say obligation, obligation. Look how classy he is. We said the same thing about Ryan Giles. We said the same thing about Ryan Giles, and look where we are. That's why obligation should either be what Puertas is, which is performance-based, where if he plays a certain amount of games, it gets triggered, and to play those games, he clearly has to impress, or just options where the club can decide. With Giles, it was always an obligation, and we were never told that flat out. And I get that to an extent. But yeah, good luck to him at Borough. I like the fact he's gone out on loan, because at the minute we won't get anywhere near 4 million for Ryan Giles, not a chance. The figure I was quoted, that we were quoted at the pod, was remarkably low. And I can understand why the club didn't go for it. And him only being there on loan with no agreed fee for an option or anything like that allows us to make more money if he impresses. And I've no doubt Ryan Giles will impress at Middlesbrough, because it's an environment that he's always wanted to go back to, an environment in which he was comfortable, and an environment which he's going back into it means familiarity. Giles will do well at Borough. He will go there permanently in the summer, and we will make significantly more than the fee that we could have made this January. It might be the thick end of 6 figures, which is fine when you compare it to what we were going to get, what we could have got this month. And there we go. Right. Let's talk about rumours, shall we? Louis Barry. Louis. This is a man who is more than capable of making the step up from League One to the Championship. It's a big jump. It's a big, big, big jump. But Louis Barry is a man who is capable of making it. 17 goal contributions in exactly half a season at Stockport this year. And people were raving about Kamara's record in League One. And I've seen Stockport fans shouting it down, saying it's not a step up. Swivel on it. Swivel on it. What a signing this has the potential to be. It's promising, but he has still got to make the step up. He's got to make the transition. And he'll do it. He will 100% do it. Cracking signing. Absolutely cracking signing. And where that leaves Sorba Thomas, I'm not too sure. I think we're in for both, which would take the tally up to Matazo was 6, Barry and Thomas would be 7 and 8. With a left back, that would take it up to 9. What I think is more likely now, because, well, to be fair, yesterday, I would suggest, this is no intel, no info, no nothing. This would, to me, suggest that we've had a breakthrough with Nantes about Sorba Thomas, because he wasn't in their squad. I am just going to check whether he was in. So that was their 1-1 draw against Lyon. I'm going to check whether he was in their squad for Saint Etienne. He was in the squad for Saint Etienne the week before. I think we've had a breakthrough with Sorba Thomas in terms of getting him out of that loan. Fees all agreed with Huddersfield. Personal terms are all agreed with Sorba Thomas. But what I think is more likely now, especially that we're getting Louis Barry, is that we wait. We put it on ice until we don't have to pay any compensation to Nantes, and we might be able to get Sorba Thomas on a free from Huddersfield. Oh, yeah. That, to me, is a perfect world. But I'm more than happy to have him now. More than happy. It does, make you wonder, where does this leave Lincoln? Where does this leave Amrabat? Where does this leave Kamara, Burstow, Gelhardt? But those two are two brilliant signings. Barry, brilliant signing, full stop. Sorba Thomas is brilliant for where we are now. We need championship. Now know-how, experience. And Sorba Thomas has got all of that. And he's a very good player. He's capable of whipping a ball in. He's capable of, picking that pass out. Capable from a corner, from a free kick. Yeah, I'd be happy with one, both, either of those signings. And that brings us on to Charlie Taylor. I'm not sure quite where this one is, but if we get it done, he's a good left back at this level. Vast masses of championship experience, of English football experience in the Premier League. He's a fantastic left back for this level. Get that one over the line on loan, please. And I tweeted earlier on that we should have most of our business wrapped up this week with any luck. Hopefully only rushing to get one of Taylor or Thomas done on deadline day, which means the focus now can shift to sorting out the mess that is the fringes of our squad. Trimming needed, which is still going to happen. Ruben Sayers said in his presser not so long ago that it is going to happen. Give me a second. Sorry. Oh, he's deleted the message. Doesn't matter. So, potential departures then. I've ordered these in some form of likely order and separated the youngsters off at the end. I've realised I'm going to add one more. Potential departures then. Badia, Achopi, Simons, Fleming, Amer, Burns, Smith, Burstow, Lottatala, Cartwright, Sellers, Fleming, Rocco, Coyle, Harry Vaughan. Sorry, work stuff. Just give me a second. There we go. Excuse me. So Badia will go. I saw a comment about Chris Badia and I was saving it to this, for this. And Neil, your comment there came at the perfect time. Sayers does want to work with the smaller squad, but 9 coming in is like another summer. So this is the exodus that's going to happen. And it will be another one like that in the summer as some players go permanently. And for Badia, the comment earlier on, only on loan, so can we just send him back now? Badia, I think, has enjoyed his time here, but there isn't a space for him in this squad anymore. So thus, time is up. Chris Badia will leave before the window closes. I'm certain of it. And if he doesn't, because he's got options to go elsewhere, but it's whether he just wants to stay at Hull City for vibes and not play. And if we can agree something with Union Berlin, which I think we have done, to get him out, it's just Chris picking his next destination. So that's Badia done. Rachopi. Anthony Rachopi's going to leave the club. That's been on the cards for a while. I thought that we'd just have to, after Rushworth was recalled, drag Rachopi back in from the cold and say, listen, Anthony, we're only kidding, mate. You know, it's just banter. It doesn't matter, you know, it was just a laugh. It turns out we haven't done that. Anthony Rachopi will leave. I'm not sure where that's to, but the likelihood is, I think, as far as I'm aware, that that's going to be on loan with a view to making it permanent in the summer. Which means the backups are going to be Lottatala, Cartwright, Foster, and actually Howard from the 18s has been spending a lot of time up at Cot recently, which I'm a fan of. He's a good kid, Archie, really good kid. Anyway, Simons, because of the arrival of Elio Matazo, Xavier Simons' time at Hull City is coming to an end. He will leave before the transfer window closes. I believe that is to the Swiss side AIK that he's been linked with. It's a strange move, but it's one, if he's going to, you know, go out there and advance his career and, you know, do that, it could be a good one. He'll win silverware out there. So he'll walk away from his career with league winners' medals and cup winners' medals if he goes out to AIK, who currently in the Swedish Allsvenskan the season's not started yet. I don't think, has it? No, it hasn't. They run in calendar years, don't they? Not seasons. AIK, they have had, of course, Seb Larsson in recent memory, who played for us. Let me get a list. Let me get the list, because I'm fairly certain I can get this up fairly sharpish if this website plays ball. Is it just the one Seb Larsson? It is just the one Seb Larsson. I thought there might be a second, but it is just Seb Larsson. Xavier Simons will go out there probably permanently, as far as I'm aware, permanently. Good luck to him. He's arguably the only player Tim Walter improved. Xavi, good luck. Brandon Fleming was recalled at the start of the window. He's going to go out again, 100%. Whether it's a permanent move or a loan move, with an option to buy, I think any club would be silly to put an option to buy in that loan because he's out of contract at the end of the year, or whether we've activated his extra year already to guarantee that we can get a fee for it. I don't know. But Brandon Fleming is gone pretty much, as far, I think, anyway. So next on the list, Abdushamir. You wonder where he's going to fit in, don't you? He's not played much under Sayers before illness and injury. But yeah, Abdush, it just hasn't worked, has it? He was all right on the wing under Liam Rosenior, but that was probably with better players around him. We thought this year him and Ozan would be the ones to build around. Ozan cleared off, and Abdush just hasn't been the same player. So it's a shame. He was linked with Besiktas a bit ago. Whether that's where he'll end up, I don't know. But Abdush, I think, is likely to leave. Finn Burns, his future's still up in the air, especially if we get Barry and Charlie Taylor through the door with the amount of loanies we can name in a squad, unless we make it permanent. Because he's looked all right under Sayers, playing in his natural position as Finn Burns. Would be worth keeping for the second half of the season for sure. Yeah. I don't want to see Finn Burns go, but his future is still up in the air, and that's why he's on this list. I think what's more likely to happen, however, is to get around the loan problem, we sign Finn Burns permanently, and Andy Smith leaves the club. What is he now, Smudge? He's 24? 24 in September. And for Hull City, he's played 6 competitive games. He played 4 times out on loan at Salford, a combined 67 times out on loan at Grimsby over 2 seasons. And he played 12 times for Cheltenham last year in his half-season loan that sort of came out of nowhere. I think Smudge, as much as I love Andy Smith, I think he needs to move on for the good of his own career so he can achieve something in the game. I think it was indicative, really, that against Doncaster, when Finn Burns came off injured, he brought Alfie Jones on instead of Andy Smith. I'd have brought Smudger on, I'd have given him some minutes. He's featured on the bench a bit, Andy Smith. Now he's back to fitness. But yeah, it's a shame that it hasn't worked because it should have worked. And had Adjan not took over, I think it would have worked because Grant McCann rated him so highly. He described him as the right-footed Jacob Greaves. And there is a player in there, but he's just not had the break under, 3-4 successive managers. 5 technically with McCann, but it was a different kind of environment. He was a lot younger then. Yeah, that's Smudge. Burstow. I think it's unlikely at this stage for Burstow to get out on loan, but I think with the players we've brought in, it would be beneficial because he's not going to get many minutes. Get him out to League One, send him to Stockport. Just get him out playing games. He can come back in the squad next year with some confidence, get some goals under his belt, because there's a player in there. We've made a long-term investment on Mason Burstow, and I'm confident we will get some reward out of it, but he's just not ready just yet. It doesn't help that we've been playing him as a winger all season when he's not a winger, and that's under 2, 3, if you count Andy Dawson, different managers. Lottatala and Cartwright, both unlikely now. I think Cartwright is more likely than Lottatala, but I think neither of them will be let go if we don't if we don't dip into the market late for a keeper, which I don't think we're going to do. I don't think we should do, quite frankly. Keep Timmy as backup. Harvey as a number 3. That'll do for me. Then Tyrell, Rocco, and Harry. Harry Vaughan is similar to Burstow. I love Harry as a lad and as a player as well. But I think because of the players we've brought in, again, a loan move would do him good. Ruben clearly rates him, and Harry clearly backs himself. But I think for the good of Harry's career, he needs to be playing games in this second half of the season and not under 21s level. Get him out on loan because there's no such thing as a bad loan necessarily if the player gets something out of it when they're Harry's age. Harry, a loan move would be smart for the club to try and find for him. Same for Tyrell Sellers-Fleming, been banging goals in 21s this year. Get him a National League loan, get him a League 2 loan, out getting experience. And Rocco, these 3 have been back in and around the first team squad for the last few weeks. So get them out to League 2, National League, Harry's case, League 1, because he's had that little bit more footballing experience. Get them playing games and then develop our players, for the love of God. And then all of a sudden that pathway can open again from the 18s up to the 21s, because if Tyrell goes out, Zach Jagielka can get 21s minutes. Harry going would mean Ramel Carter can get more 21s minutes. Stan Hewitt can get more 21s minutes. Rocco dropping out and the departure of George Dickinson in December can allow people like Alfie Perry, Josh Ajaya, Lucas Dawson, who's been with the 21s all year, to be fair, to get more minutes. So yeah, that's the window. I just want to say, to finish, this has got Jared Dublin's fingerprints all over it, and I love it. Adrian's taken a step back on all the deals apart from Louis Barry, because he's got that relationship with Villa, and Lincoln, because Fenerbahce. But when he's got a football person, someone whose recruitment is bread and butter, running a transfer window, look at the fruit we get from it. We can't expect the same caliber of player to come in as did last January. Carvalho, Giles with the reputation he had, Zaruri with the reputation he had, voice crack, with the reputation he had. But what we've done is we've made the best of the situation we're in. And for that, come on, Jared Dublin, you have my respect. Cracking. What a head of recruitment find. What a sporting director. Give him the keys to the city already. That'll do. Thank you for tuning in, guys. It's been good to be back. And yeah, we'll do another one of these on deadline day. We'll, wrap everything up about this time on the Monday, bring everything, round everything up, bring everyone up to speed with what's going on and what's left to do. Take it easy. I will see you soon. Forgotten how to end these. Yeah, I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this little catch up, guys. Thank you very much. See you later. Goodbye.